Hi guys, Daman Meta here, and thank you for joining me on this journey of mine of me going through my favorites list of fanfiction.net. This is a special episode because it's a year I started this. I started the first forum post last year, exactly, and yeah, I'm still working on it, and it's been interesting. Been going through a lot of stories that I like, some that I've been wondering what I was thinking when I was a kid or younger, but it's been a really interesting experience. Again, for those of you that don't know, I've sorted my favorites list on fanfiction.net by publication date, rereading all the stories from oldest to newest, and seeing what still deserves to stay on my list. So this is, again, 1 year. I hit 250 stories read, which is about a fifth of my list, so it tells you how long this is still going to be going for. But yeah, let's get started. First off with Naruto is Dating Who? By Meinos Kaen. And this is basically a simple story about Naruto dating various random women. Not in the actual Naruto universe, just random people. These are all one-shots that are just like funny scenarios where where he ends up interacting with them in some way and then ends up in a relationship. Like the first person I believe is like Ayame from Dead or Alive. Then there's like a whole bunch of other ones that are really funny, like Dark Magician Girl shows up for a bit. Hermione Granger and Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. I think Ginny's also there. Like, it's a whole bunch of fun. All the relationships are really enjoyable. I honestly thought it was going to be basically pure porn and like smut, but it's really not. It's more just it's the story of how all the interactions they have and how they hook up, not the actual sex or anything. Like, that's just mentioned there. So it's just really a lot of humor that goes on because he meets them all in really stupid ways. I loved it a lot, and if you want to see Naruto like stumble into relationships at varying ages, sometimes he's older, sometimes he's younger. It's just a whole lot of fun. I enjoyed this. So that stays on my list. Next up is another Naruto fic. This one is called called Naruto Ultimate RedX Rising by 26 Lord Pain. This is like, he had a series where Naruto goes into various crossovers that he called Naruto Ultimates. This one starts with like Naruto, okay, he's been betrayed by Konoha, they stole his inheritance and like, brainwashed him, stuff like that, blah blah blah. So he's gonna leave. Then all his friends start chasing after him. He uses a jutsu to escape and somehow gets attacked while that's happening, and boom, everybody's in the world of the Teen Titans. The story is basically okay, and it's complete, so that's got plus. And the bits that go on fit tonally with the show of Teen Titans, so like it feels like it would be something that's actually there. And the crossover characters that show up all over the place, from like Danny Phantom and Snake from Metal Gear Solid and everything, they're super fun, but I just didn't really get into this. So it's really long, and before my stance used to be, if it's long it must be good, and like it's okay, but it really dragged for me. Like it just started getting tedious to read. I was finding myself uninterested in seeing where the story developed. I didn't really connect with the characters. Like, aside from the beginning, where I found it really weird that like he basically has like a minor like split personality breakdown early on with like being Red X and Naruto and stuff, and that's dumb and odd. But then otherwise, moving on, it just becomes like different bits where he's okay. Like, the story's okay. Naruto's pretty damn strong and overpowered for most of the stuff that the Teen Titans face and everything, and it's just okay. That's what I find in general. 7 out of 10. That it's fine to read. You won't. I don't know if you'll be super disappointed. Maybe if you're, bigger fan of the show and like of both Naruto and Teen Titans, and you like their kind of like simple stuff, go for it. But I found myself uninterested towards the end, and I'm not gonna keep this on my list. More Naruto. This one next is Alternate Universe by Crossover King 46, and this is pure crack. So Naruto, instead of learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu from the Forbidden Scroll, learns a new scroll new jutsu called the Alternate Universe Summoning Jutsu, which has a very interesting description in the actual scroll. It's fun to read. And what ends up happening is he ends up summoning alternate versions of himself to fight for him, which are all really, really funny. This is just like various scenes. It just goes step by step to different moments, and it's really just entertaining. The different Narutos that show up and how the brief, very small glimpses we get into their universes are fantastic. I love this. Super stupid humor and super funny. Check it out if you want to laugh a lot. It's staying on my list. All right. Next is a different category. Now we got Evangelion with The Gift by Merkaba, and basically after a couple of the angel fights, I'm not sure exactly which one. I can't remember. But like basically after a while, Shinji gets a book on sexual magics by Lucifer, and he summons Erd using it, and then starts basically building himself a harem unintentionally, and just goes on. The premise and the idea gives the idea that it's going to be a lot of sexual humor, a lot of like porn, like smut and like gags and stuff like that. But it's not. This story is not that. There's like attempts at humor, and it is there, but the main tone of Evangelion basically just smothers the jokes, and we get like an even bigger bad that has a really even more tragic backstory with one of the characters, and some a whole bunch of stupid shit that it's there. The plot gets it gets heavy. The humor basically dies down, and it's just like occasional bits of sexual just notes that like everybody wants to bang Shinji. It goes very quickly from humor to soap opera, and that's okay, but it really drew away my interest as I was reading it. I like humor, fun is what I go for, and like it just bleeded out so fast that I didn't really give a shit about continuing the story. The writing itself is fine. The characters all get a lot of all the main characters will get like some effect happening to them because of the book that Shinji gets, and so like they change in their behaviors in various ways, but it's just the shift away from humor really killed my vibe for this story, and it's not going to stay on my list. Back to Naruto with All Is Relative Except the Stubbornness of a Demon by Uncle Stoji. And okay, so Naruto is he lives his life, and then when he dies, Kyuubi's like, no, I'm immortal, I ain't fucking dying. So he sends Naruto back to his Genin days, and he relives it, and then it happens over and over and over again. So So by this point, he's when this fic actually starts, he's been doing this for like hundreds, thousands of years, and he basically knows like all the tricks and like how to talk to people to get them to do exactly what he wants and everything. And so he's just taking this. So Naruto's just going super calm, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Hey, how's this? Oh, that's interesting, and like just moseying on down through this, and that's what killed this for me. Like aside from the fact that it doesn't really get anywhere. In 70,000 words, it barely, I think maybe he gets one C rank mission near the end, but it's like nowhere near the actual length of Naruto, and it's just really just, you know, his calmness means that there's no urgency, there's no sense of like, okay, something's coming, which most time travel fics have, unless they go for like usually time travel fics are one of two things. Either they're go for drama and urgency in some form or way, and you know it's serious, which okay, that's fine. Or they go for humor, where it's like, okay, this happened stupidly, and I'm just gonna have fun with this and fuck around. And both of those types of fics are fine. This is neither of those. This is just like, oh, it's happening, and I'm gonna deal with it and move on. And I actually had a fic like this earlier. Reload by Case 13, but the difference was that one was it was similar in that they were just doing, they gave up on figuring out why or trying to stop it, but again that was leaning more into the humor, where it's just like, I'm gonna do crazy shit because I want my vacation or I want this, and there were bits of urgency as well. That one actually straddled between the two. This one is just neither. It's just, okay, shit's happening, whatever, this is dumb, whatever, move on, I can take it easy now, and it never gets to any part that's going to be interesting. I just found this to be really dull. It doesn't step up. There's no big moments. There's no interesting moments. It's all just very leisure, walking down a pleasant stroll down memory lane kind of feeling, and I just found it to be really monotonous. So that's gonna go off my list. All right, number 6, I think, for this video is Reflections of Demons by Evil Genius. And this is a continuation of a one-shot that was called Mirror by Uchiha Nakage. And that was like, and this is written by somebody else, which expands on the initial premise and continues the story. And I like this a lot because I like Haku as a character a lot, and I love seeing him more, and seeing Zabuza as well. Super fun. Not a lot of fics go into that because usually they're very killed off in the first thing, or they just like they live but then they just become background characters that are not important. This one is very much it's focusing on Haku and Naruto and Zabuza. Follows them, main focus on them. It jumps to other point of views occasionally, but it's actually their story, not Naruto's. And it shows that like basically all the ninjas or stuff seem to have a soft spot for Naruto, and yet he still gets completely socially ostracized and fucked over by everybody. And it just it's all about like helping Naruto heal after all his problems and stuff, but it feels really soft or simple. Like, the main feel I get from this is more like coaxing a cat out of a tree, or like just saying like, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna help you, like, come to me a little, and just doing that instead of any big moments or big like drama heal moments. It's not there. It's all just gentle, and that is a type of thing, and that's something that does work, and people need that. I just didn't get really. I was interested, but it's not memorable. There's no like, there's nothing that sticks out in the head other than the fact that like Haku and Zabuza really like him, So, and again, this one is not a completed fic, so it's like, I enjoyed this, and I would recommend this, especially combined with the original. Actually, the original you really only need for the context of the first part, but I think this is good, but it's not great or memorable enough to stay on my favorites list. Like, I might go back and see this again, maybe, but wouldn't, like, if I stumbled across it again, I'd be happy, but I wouldn't search this out again and again. Reading it once is fine for me. So yeah, it's not going to stay on my list. Alright, now we go back to Eva with Anti-Heroes of Eva, Deepest Darkness by Bios13. And this is, so during the fight with the 13th Angel, Shinji basically snaps when he's told to kill the pilot of the Unit 3, and he gains the power of the darkness, which lets him grow a spine, and he fights back, disobeys orders, and then gets punished. I like the bits, Shinji's backbone and the like few confrontations he has are like are enjoyable to me. I like that, sense of seeing Shinji, fight back. But the story itself, like, it's not complete, and it ends Act 1 of this plot, and then it stops. And that's sad, because like none of the cool stuff that you would expect from the darkness happens. He's in solitary confinement for this whole time, so like he doesn't use any of his powers. Nothing really gets off. He has very few interactions with most of the people, and everybody else on the other hand is just like being emotionally manipulated to either start being like, okay, you're going to be a new antagonist, you're going to be a new ally, you're going to just be a bystander now, you're not important anymore, and all that stuff. It was fun to read, but it just leaves you wanting so much because it just doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's going to fall off my list. And now for the last one, number 250 of my reading journey, Naruto the Spanking Nin by Mog the Gnome. This was a one-shot in his one-shot collection that I had read. And four of these chapters were actually in that one shot. And when he figured it was a complete story, he just busted into a separate thing and added the fifth one. I love this story. It's super fun, super like short, stupid humor, which is always great. Basically, Naruto has like a change in opponents in the preliminaries, and that leads to him working on a new style of combat because of what Sakura suggests to him, and then just a whole bunch of stupid sexual humor that I really enjoyed, laughed. Not very. It's not super explicit. It's a little on the line, but it's super just entertaining how like stupid Naruto is and how all the characters just deal with it. I love it a lot, and it stays on my list. So there we go. 250 stories have been read. 137 have stayed on my list. It's been a year. This has been really interesting and really fun. I've actually been holding off. There's a couple stories that I've wanted to add to my list now, and I'm like, I don't want to keep adding on to my list to make this go on forever, but I think I might start doing that. Start adding like one or two more that I've seen. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys, whoever's been doing this to follow my journey for a year. If you like the video, please leave a like or a comment. I leave links to all the stories in the description. If you want to see when this comes out, please subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. Again, it's been a great year. And hopefully this time I'll read a bit faster and it won't take 4 years to finish this. Boy. I will catch you guys next time. Bye.